Welcome back, everyone, to another live Mast Cell 360 show. I am your host, Jamie Fries-Miller. I'm also a health coach here at Mast Cell 360, and we're really excited for today's show about reducing mold exposure, non-toxic practical tools for sensitive people. Whether you're joining us live right now or catching the replay, we're so glad to have you with us today. These lives are all about empowering you on your mast cell journey with practical insights, expert guidance, and the support of our amazing community. Please feel free to drop in the comments where you're tuning in from, as we really love to see how global this community is. I'm going to bring our guests up in just a second. We have some experts from Microbalance, and they are going to be off camera, but they're going to be here to share a lot of practical tips and share more about their products if you are someone who is sensitive and has trouble finding them. So you're in for a real treat. And I also have our lead practitioner, Kimberly Quirk, with us today. So I'll bring them up in just a second, but let's do our quick disclaimers. Today's presentation is for informational and educational purposes. It is not meant to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent illness, so please be sure to discuss any health recommendations with your healthcare provider. And just a reminder that some of the links shared during this presentation or on our website are affiliate links, which means Mast Cell 360 may take a very small commission if you purchase through us. We only recommend products that we love and use personally in the Mast Cell 360 clinic, including the products that we're going to be talking about today. Some quick announcements. So for those who may not be familiar with Microbalance, or maybe you are familiar with Microbalance, we have worked with them to create a new mold bundle with some of our favorite products and a coupon code that we will share with you as well. More on that later. Just a reminder that we are on Substack. So this is all of the free resources that we provide in one place. But we also have subscriber plans that is less than $6 to $9 a month, which allows you to get bonus printables and recipes, practitioner tips, as well as some savings on supplements, courses, and even our strategy sessions. So you can check that out at mastcell360.substack.com. Okay, so we're going to be talking about Microbalance products. If you're unfamiliar with Microbalance, Microbalance Health Products is the company, and they've created science-informed, non-toxic solutions designed to help reduce mold and microbial exposures in the home. Their mission is to support a healthier indoor environment, especially for individuals dealing with sensitivities, chronic illness, or mold-related health challenges. With decades of combined experience, the Microbalance team focuses on practical tools and ongoing mold maintenance, because that's the thing. There's always a potential for mold, but the more you are ahead of it and the more you maintain it, the better you'll be. Okay? And the best part is that they avoid harsh chemicals commonly found in conventional cleaners, which only adds to the burden on the body. So I'm going to bring up our guests today. We have lead practitioner Kimberly, as well as Catherine, right, from Microbalance. We can't see them. They are here.
Yes. Hey, sorry. Camera.
So let's go into what we're going to talk about today, and then I'm going to kind of kick it off. I'll kind of guide the conversation. And then later, I also wanted to announce that we are going to bring on one of our own team members from Mast Cell 360 who has a really cool story about Microbalance products.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about everyday exposures to mold and toxins and how they affect health, especially if you're sensitive. We're going to talk about simple ways to reduce mold and toxins in your home. And we're going to have a closer look at some of our favorite products from Microbalance. And as time allows, we'll do a live Q&A. So just quick on the Q&A part, feel free to drop your comments in as we're going over like the conversation part of the presentation. You must be logged into Facebook or YouTube to actually comment. Please only submit your question one time. Keep it on the topic of today's show, which is mold and mold sensitivity, mold in the environment. And please understand that we're unable to answer in-depth personal health questions. And I want to apologize in advance that my camera is being wonky and I sometimes blip, but my sound seems to be okay. So let's see. Kimberly, do you want to kick us? Actually, hold on 1 second here. I want to, kick everyone off. I'm going to bring this down for a second. And if we have any new folks here, I want to kind of give our audience like a brief idea of like why we should even be thinking about air quality in the first place. And this is like not just where we live. This could also be like places of work too. If we think about like where we may be exposed to mold, even if you feel good in your home, but you're spending 8+ hours out of your day in a work environment that's moldy, right? So why is air important? Kimberly, do you want to kick us off, or Microbalance, do you want to kick us off to answer this question first?
Yeah, I mean, how it relates to mast cell, right? So, I mean, mold is a huge trigger for mast cell, and I mean, something we see in clinic. I mean, I've been here 4 years. I had to look at the date. So yeah, about 4 years, and have not seen very many clients that didn't have a mold as part of the picture. Was it the whole picture? No, it's never the whole picture, but it's a big part of the picture for many of us, including myself, because I've walked this journey too. I started here as a client. So mold is huge, and you have to think about what you're exposed to in the environment. And we breathe 20,000 times a day. And, think about indoor air and indoor air quality. And if there's any toxigenic molds, that can really affect, so much in our body. Everything from if we're allergy sensitive, but it also is the toxicity piece, the mycotoxins add up. And then there's also the colonization piece where your sinuses or your gut can get colonized from those spores and exposure to them. So it can play a big role, and it's more common than we think.
Yeah. I mean, and I was just going to add, I think the current number is that we spend like 90% of our lives indoors, whether that's at home, in an office, in a school, in a dorm room. And if the air in those spaces contains mold spores or mycotoxins, which I'm sure your audience knows about those, the toxic byproducts of some molds, your body's constantly working against that kind of burden. And then, it's not like to create some paranoia that the air you breathe is one more thing to be paranoid about. It's just more, and the way we look at it from sort of our brand's perspective is that it's about understanding that the air is a major exposure pathway, just like your food or water. So just like you are mindful of what you eat and what you drink, you should also be mindful of what you're breathing, And then there's also the piece, like mold is an allergen, a pathogen, and a toxin. So you've got all three pieces that create a mast cell sort of cornucopia of issues, especially if you're someone that is sort of prone to that hyperreactivity. So that's why, it also is often a piece, not always the piece, but a piece of the mast cell puzzle. So that's my little piece of it.
Yeah. And I think too, like what you were both saying, like the air piece is invisible. So it's like less likely to be thought of. And often the mold piece can also be hidden. So like the mycotoxins that you mentioned being the harmful, like the toxic byproducts of the mold, right? They don't need to be seen or smelled to be a problem. So it can be hidden behind the wall and completely hidden, out of sight, out of mind, right? But of still affecting the mast cells.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, even what we know about poison, I mean, there's been a lot of studies on poisons, especially with warfare and things, and how they degranulate mast cells, even with like poison ivy. I think it's poison oak and poison ivy. There's been lots of studies on how mast cell activation is protective and then calming, but the body is so smart. It knows when something is a consistent danger as well. And so, I think sometimes like exposures build over time. And while the body can handle small ones, when you're breathing low levels of mold and mycotoxins every day, whether that be at home, at work, or where you sleep, the exposures accumulate. And then for sensitive people, they lead to gradual overload. So
yeah, you mentioned like the poison, like we're talking about mold today, right? But you mentioned like the poison aspect of like, toxins, right? We have toxin exposure all over our environments, whether it's like a natural thing like poison ivy, but it could be pesticides living next door to a farm. Plus, if there's mold in your home or place of work, right? So how does lowering overall toxin exposure support health and stabilization?
Well, I mean, I don't know if Kevin wants to talk to it a little bit more because he's like got the pharmacy background, but lowering overall exposure just gives your body that break it needs to calm down and recover and feel safe in the space where you're living and working and breathing. And like, as you know, not only with mold, that happens to be something that you need to be vigilant about with what you're using like on your body or in your home to clean as well. Because if you're hyper reactive to the mold, then you're also going to be incredibly reactive to things like scents or chemicals or even certain ingredients that like tend to be more allergenic. I don't know if I answered your question, but
yeah, no,
well, that's exactly what I would say.
Yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
I'm sorry. Yeah, she said it perfectly. It's going to help, lower your exposure. So over time, you kind of build up that inflammation, and this just gives your immune system the opportunity to recover.
Yeah, we see that a lot in our clinic. Kimberly, do you want to add anything to
Yeah,
that?
just taking off the body burden, right? So we take away the triggers, why have more pressing on your detox system and your immune system? So the more that we can kind of take away at the top, right, the easier it's going to be to detox. But yeah.
And these toxins can come in like the form of like your cookware or your cleaning products or your personal care products. They can be in the air. So we're talking about like mold and air quality or like whatever else is being sprayed. And so when you do think about, the cleaning products, you can't use typical conventional cleaning products because of the sensitivity scent. But sometimes our clients still are. And so it's like, can we switch over? And I tell people it's like one product at a time. It's like just pick one product to swap. Like make it really simple to start. When you run out, just buy a different cleaner product for the next one. So let's get into some additional tips on like how do we support health and overall, mold mitigation. So Kimberly, do you want to do this slide?
Yeah. So basic tips for reducing mold exposure. So controlling humidity is huge. So thinking about bathroom fans, those bathroom fans know this. I mean, I didn't know this before I fell into mold, right? But like your bathroom fans should vent not into your attic, but to the outside. So huge, like for any bathroom that you have that has a shower or a bath or something like that, because the humidity can build. You don't want that humidity building in your attic, right? And then contributing to mold growth there. Hygrometers. So what is the hygrometer? It's something that measures the humidity level. You can buy those pretty inexpensively on Amazon. And I recommend putting them in every place where you have any kind of water, any bathroom, your laundry room,
kitchen.
Bedroom is good. What was that other one?
I have one in the kitchen.
Yeah, kitchen, absolutely. Anywhere you have running water makes a lot of sense. And then definitely dehumidifier. So people, you want to keep your humidity levels, below 50% to minimize mold growth. But we also say you don't want to go much below 40% for the viral piece. But yeah, definitely for looking at the mold piece, you want to keep that below 50%. And sometimes you need to get dehumidifiers throughout your house. I know I need to run one all summer in my basement just to keep it, down around 50.
Yeah.
So cleaning regularly is huge. So, I mean, we're super sensitive to all the things, even dust mites, right? So washing linens, at least once a week, maybe more if you're more sensitive, and having things that you can wash, right? Like down is probably not easily washable. So, comforters and things that you can wash. Wiping horizontal surfaces, especially where dust accumulates. So if you see dust kind of adding up, and if there's any kind of mold, that can be a mold. I know for a sign for me was that I figured out around my mattress being an issue is, dust would puff out, it would just, my room would get dusty so much faster than any other room in the house. And I kind of connected that back. Mopping and vacuuming floors regularly, using a HEPA vacuum, I will add, because I made that mistake too, where I had a vacuum that did not have that, and it was just throwing it back into the air. So making sure you have HEPA vac on it. And wiping things down, at least once a week. It can be simple, right? Just a microfiber cloth, maybe damp, kind of wiping things down. Minimizing contaminants, right? So removing shoes at the door, huge good habit to start. Using non-toxic products, drying or removing water damaged materials immediately. So know that mold growth can start within 24 to 48 hours of a water event. So making sure if you have some kind of pipe burst or something like that, you're getting in there and getting things dried out quickly, and using dehumidifiers and things like that. And diluting and cleaning the air. So air filters, we usually recommend Air Doctor, but one that really goes down to particle size of 0.03 microns is what you want to look for, because mycotoxins go that small. And for perspective, one strand of hair is 10 microns, and we're talking about 0.03 microns. So those particles are small, and really, you're not going to see them. Opening windows, really good idea, right? I know I just did that. We had a first nice day in a while, getting a cross breeze, trying to get fresh air in the house. And then, fogging and misting can help some people, especially if you're in a mold and you can't get out and maybe you're renting. We sometimes recommend to clients to do some regular fogging and then deep clean to until they kind of get to their lease or they can get the environment cleaned up with their landlord.
Yeah. We have a whole blog on this too. So if you're you're in mold and you're just kind of like, where do I start? Hopefully today's information will help you, but you can also check out a blog. We'll throw that mastcell360.com/inmold link into the comments as well for you guys to be able to click it.
Yeah. Oh, and I'd love to add that all of these basic tips that Mast Cell 360 have given you are excellent, and they're all of the same tips we give any customer asking for best practices to use with our products, because we are very big on trying to help educate people on I think we've lost our way in the cleaning space a little bit, when we went from the model that our grandmothers taught us about elbow grease and truly cleaning to spraying something and expecting it to disappear.
Yeah.
And so we want people to start cleaning again, and even establishing just very doable cleaning practices that keep things maintained and healthy, in their homes. Embrace it as kind of part of your healthcare, rather than as something to be dreaded. So anyway.
I also think about the cleaning and then the toxic products that are on the market for cleaning.
Yes.
And how that's actually sure, cleaning's good, but then are we putting toxins into the air? So you guys have solved that problem by creating products that are clean and healthy. But
yeah. And there was also a huge problem in our space, and Kevin and I talk about this all the time, and he's really great. He's he deals with customers all day and just really helps them. But One of the problems is one of the governing bodies, and they've improved upon this. And I think there's been a huge improvement in the mold space in general. But one of sort of the governing bodies teaching mold remediators with certifications like in the space is that they were dealing with remediation from a flood and blackwater perspective. And that is not usually the case with most people in their homes and mold problems. And it's not a disinfection issue. It's a drying and removal issue. And it must be removed. It's not, mold cannot be disinfected away. Now, cleaning is a huge part of that, but it is not the main piece. So that's like important for people to understand too.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go into, we're going to go over 3 products today for the new bundle. So let's introduce the new bundle. We worked with you guys to say, like, these are our favorite products of yours that we recommend in the clinic. The EC3 Mast Cell Bundle includes an air purification candle. So Catherine was going to show these, but with the time change and her schedule, she's off camera. So I went and grabbed mine because I happened to have all of them in my home. So the bundle includes an air purification candle, mold solution concentrate, because we picked this because you can make a lot of different products with this. And then their new product is the Additive cleaner. So we'll talk about more, but feel free to screenshot this so that you remember the MC360 code if you go to purchase to get your additional 10% off. And then EC3 bundle is the pretty link. So mastcell360.com/EC3 bundle. So let's break down and talk about like each product. Let's start with the candle. So
well, Kevin, do you want to take the candle? Kevin actually makes the candles. So okay. He is the perfect person to have on today to talk about the candles. So you want to kind of tell how they work and what they don't have in them?
Well, let me just real quick, because like when we tell people like, yeah, get this candle for mold, like they might be skeptical, like what's it actually doing?
So it contains the same product that all of our EC3 products have, which is the citrus-based components. And as the candle burns, it melts the wax, which releases those botanicals into the air. And that helps and our EC3 has been shown to reduce mycotoxins or break down mycotoxins. So that's mainly what it's doing. It's helping to bring down your mycotoxin level. Mm-hmm. What I tell people is you need to use it daily, because depending on your environment, you may have a lot of mold or mycotoxins being produced. So it's something that you need to do daily until you can get the problem addressed and have remediation done.
Mm-hmm. So how you say daily, but like how, like practically speaking, how does someone use the candle? So daily, how often, how long?
We usually recommend at least an hour each day.
Okay.
Yeah, you're trying to achieve like a full. So when we say like a full melt pool, when you burn the candle, you know how you watch sort of the top layer become a liquid. Mm-hmm. It needs to achieve that full liquid melt pool on the top layer of the candle to really be maximal in its like releasing of the extracts that are in the wax. So it usually takes about an hour to do that. And then you want about roughly like 1 candle per 600 square feet of indoor space. And you want to burn them in the rooms that you're spending the most time. Like, I mean, if you're not going to be in a back room of your house, you don't need to be, lighting and burning the candle for an hour. But they're a means to lower the mold and mycotoxin counts. And this word is very important, temporarily, because if you haven't fixed the problem, it's a temporary thing in the rooms where you're spending the most time.
That makes sense. Yeah, my next question was going to be like, what type of spaces? So you would say like, if you have a localized mold place, like a lot of our clients are like, oh, it's in the bathroom, right? Or it's in the kitchen. So you would do it at least there daily, but you're recommending maybe one candle per 600 square foot. Did I write that down right?
Yeah, like if you have an open floor plan, this is kind of how I envision it. Like if you have like a kitchen sort of kind of living space that's combined, I mean, you probably need like two for that space to be burning. But like in a smaller room, like an office space, obviously a bathroom, one candle would be more than enough. Or like when I traveled this weekend with my daughter for a sport event, and we were staying in a hotel, and as we all know, those are usually suboptimal for mold. And I just always take a candle with me, and the minute we get into the hotel room, which I know that it's probably against policy, but I light it and just let it burn like while we're in the room. I mean, obviously I blow it out when we go to sleep and things like that, but when we're in there, I let it burn because it really does help.
Yeah, that's awesome. Kimberly, do you have any like advice for our audience, like, or any recommendations for someone who's never tried one before and is super sensitive, or who might like benefit from starting with candles?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, starting anything new with mast cell, you want to go slow, right? Before you start with the hour, go, see how you do with it. Yeah, because anything sort of airborne, if your nervous system is upregulated to protect, and your immune system, you can be a little sensitive. So I would titrate it like anything else, right? Go in a low and slow way, and see how you do with it.
Yeah, I mean, we even tell our really, really sensitive customers, I mean, buy a candle, just one, and open it up and like kind of like smell it, not even burned, like at first, and see if you're having any reaction. They don't have a scent. I mean, you can smell maybe a slate. I would say very faint citrus, if anything. And you can even like touch the top of the wax and rub it between your fingers. And I mean, just kind of see how your body feels around it. And then, like Kimberly said, light it for maybe a couple of minutes and blow it out, and we always recommend like using the lid to just snuff it out, or like a candle snuffer, because then, I mean, obviously it's a candle, so you want to try to limit soot, which we do with like the kind of wicks we use. And it's also in a tin and not a glass container, because that also limits soot output from a candle. So we try really hard to make it, the least sort of, I guess, disruptive thing to your environment as it can be.
Yeah. I see a note just on like our sound piece. If who's not talking could mute at the time, because there's just a little bit of background noise coming in.
Okay.
But those are some great tips to even just like open the candle before. And I didn't know that about glass, so that's really interesting too.
Yeah, it is prettier, but it does create more soot while the candle is burning. Yeah. So that's why we selected the containers that we selected. Yeah. And there's no lead in the wick or in the container.
Great. All right, let's talk about the concentrate. So what is EC3 concentrate? Let's start there.
You want to take that one, Kevin?
And he's muted now, so.
Oh.
I'll unmute him. There you go.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So the concentrate, it's basically the same thing as our EC3 mold spray,
which I also
and can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. And so it contains all the same EC3 components, the citrus-based components well, with the concentrate, we mainly recommend using it. We have a fogger that we recommend using. You can spray it with a sprayer as well, but really, if you're trying to get things out of the air, the fogger's the best way to do that.
Yeah. So how is it different than similar products on the market? Like what would you want to get this for? Obviously the fogging we can talk about in more detail. Kimberly mentioned that we might recommend that for somebody who can't get out of mold, but are you using it for general cleaning, laundry?
You can use it for, go ahead, Kevin.
I was just going to say general cleaning. You can use it for general cleaning. You can use it for laundry, although I think the laundry additive that we have is a better and more economical option.
Okay, good to know. Any tips? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say it's kind of like one of those, it's a product that is sort of like an all-purpose thing. You can use it for porous surfaces, non-porous surfaces. It's great to use on drapes, on rugs, to mist, allow it to dry, and then use like your like brush attachment or just, your regular vacuum to vacuum, because it helps bind to the mold spores for like more easy removal from those sort of porous items. I mist like our couches and chairs and then vacuum them like once a week. I even missed like my kids' like sports bags and things with it, where they keep like pads and stuff like that, just to, it really helps with, it's almost like a natural deodorizer as well, because it helps, it sort of disrupts the exterior shell of like a mold spore. So it's not viable anymore. That's why it also degrades mycotoxins. So it helps with the MBOCs and things that mold produces, because it can't produce them any longer. So you will get that deodorizing sort of feel. The air will feel lighter. It'll kind of sometimes make a room feel easier to breathe in from that piece of its formula. The concentrate is such a cool product because that one bottle makes like a gallon of solution. Mm-hmm. So you just mix it with distilled water, and you can use it like in a fogger. You can use it for surfaces. You can use it even a little more highly concentrated on things if you want to do that. You can use it in a carpet cleaner. A lot of people use it in carpet cleaners. So that's kind of that product. It's basically fragrance free as well. So, if you have an issue with fragrance, most people do not have an issue with this product unless they have like a true citrus allergy. And if you do have a true citrus allergy, I would, say our products probably are not the best for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you might want to test that one too. You could just spray some on a piece of tissue and just kind of hang out with it and make sure that you're not going to react to it.
Yeah, that's a great sensitivity starting point. Yeah, and I was going to say the dilution, the ratios are on the back. So depending on how much solution you want to make, it tells you how much of this, how much water to do. So you can make like separate bottles. Is the dilution the same for like misting, fogging? Because we talked a little bit about that. Maybe we want to talk a little bit more about the fogging and misting. Because I think that
the dilution is the same.
Okay.
For fogging and misting, you're always going to use the same dilution, which is 1 to 7.
1 to 7. Okay. Kimberly, do you have any? I liked the tissue spray thing. Any other suggestions how someone might start with this if they've never tried it before, or who might benefit the most from starting with this? We already said if you have a true IgE allergy to citrus, this is not the product for you. But a lot of people hear citrus and they immediately think histamine because we don't eat.
But you're not eating it, right?
So I think like just making that distinction.
Not eating it. And if you're just using it as a cleaner or a fogger or something like that, it's fine, but I'll always go slow with Mast Cell, right? Always try in a slow way to see how you do with it before you do a bunch of it.
Yeah, I usually tell clients to try it in a room that they don't spend a lot of time in first, so that they can like peek in a little bit and see. But like if they were going to react, then they don't have to go back into that space, rather than like doing it in your bedroom and then having nowhere to sleep.
Yes, that's a great tip for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so then let's talk about your guys' new product, because while I was gathering these, Catherine, I heard you say this was like your little passion project.
Yeah, it's our head to toe cleanser, and it does contain like we call it like our EC. It's sort of like the main EC3 ingredient that is effective on mold and mycotoxins, but it's also designed to be like exceedingly gentle and to not contain things like citric acid that are a big problem, especially for people with mast cell, and has that molecular mimicry for a lot of people to mold who are dealing with mold. So they tend to react to cleaning products, with even natural cleaning products with citric acid, just because your most now I'm going to say the caveat is there are some products that do contain natural citric acid from citrus fruits, but what I'm referring to is manufactured citric acid, which is grown. It is lab produced, grown on mold, aspergillus mold, and so a lot of people with mold toxicity, they'll be cleaning or just using their normal shampoo and start reacting to it. And it's from that sort of cell danger response from the citric acid a lot of times. So that is not in this product. That was sort of a big deal for us. And it is really gentle on the skin barrier. So it's not going to strip your skin and make it more susceptible to reaction to other things like from repeated use. And it's very naturally antifungal and antimicrobial. Like we don't make any kind of claims on the bottle, but it has the ingredients and the product have been used for decades for antimicrobial and antifungal use. So yeah. But I mean, it can be used from your head to your feet, and even to clean if you want to, almost like I don't know that it's pretty moisturizing, so I wouldn't use it for like a dish soap, but for anything else, it would be fine.
What about for pets? Is it safe for pets?
Yes, you can use it as a dog shampoo. We hope people do. It's really it's great for fungal coat issues like on dogs, especially dogs that, if they're living with you and you've got mold, the dog also is being exposed. So we have lots of mold dog owners who use it like post job to wash the dogs. So
yeah, and you have to think about the dogs. Their fur is like statically charged, right? And they're like a Swiffer. Like I had a dog who was big, black and fluffy, and yeah, he came with it. It was probably trapped in his fur. And then anytime you go outside, he'd like to roll and leave. So a lot of mold there, and they'd run upstairs and roll all over my pillow. And I was waking up with hives on one side of my face from the pillow. So washing them is so important. We don't think about that when we think about cross contamination, right? When we move places, that you need to shampoo your pets too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, and it's safe and gentle, and we've got one that's unscented, which is in the Mast Cell 360 bundle, and then one that has a citrus spearmint scent that I do really well with, and I am like a canary in a coal mine with fragrance and mold. So that's been really exciting for me to have something that has a scent to it. So
yeah, I have the citrus mint one, and it was funny. My husband, like, I put it in the shower and was like, okay, like use this. He raves about it. he's like,
Oh,
I love
good.
the smell. It's so good. I'm like, okay.
I love hearing it because it's kind of a strange scent combination, but we really loved it. Like we tested
Yeah.
so many, and we had a focus group, and that was like resoundingly the scent that they chose. So
Yeah, and I agree. Like I'm pretty like scent like because it's natural, like it's not a synthetic fragrance. So I think that's important to say is like people think scents and then their like nervous system guard immediately goes up and they're like, it's all scents are bad. And I like to tell people like, no, not all scents are bad. Some scents actually can be nourishing to the nervous system. So like and provide a sense of safety. Like I tell people, I'm like, it's think about like everyone talks about Christmas cookies, like the smell of Christmas cookies in your grandma's kitchen around Christmas. Like that's warm and fuzzy feeling versus like musty underneath the sink is obviously a
yeah,
different. So like smell can go both ways because it's affecting the nervous system on different ways. So to find a scent that smells good and makes you feel safe is awesome.
yeah, it's kind of like a little invigorating, and it's very subtle. Like it's not. I wouldn't call it scent forward. I would call it like just almost like I mean, it definitely has a scent, but it's more of like a hint of it than anything else. So
Yeah. No, I think like all three, like you said, like the scent is so subtle, and if you are sensitive, you can always start with the unscented, which is what comes in our bundle. All right, I want to bring Danielle on real quick because she is on our team here at Mast Cell 360.
I just want to mention about the cleanser. The only people in clinic that we see might be sensitive are those who are super salicylate sensitive because it's plant-based, but they're generally having any plant-based just because salicylates can accumulate through skin.
Yeah, good point. All right, Danielle, I'm bringing you up. I hope you're ready.
Here we go. Okay. I was like so excited to try this cleanser product because I've been using microbalance products for like over 7 years, I would say. And there's something I always come back to. I've tried more than I haven't tried on the website. So I've got a lot of experience with them, but my hair has always been like somewhat of a magnet. And there's been a lot of times where I've had to cut it all the way up to like my chin because I was reacting to it so bad and couldn't find a product that would really get it clean so that would stop. And it's like super thick. It's really long. It's down to the middle of my back. And so I was really excited when they asked us to try this cleanser because I was hoping for something that would really work, you know. And a little did I know we were going to have a pipe burst around the time that they offered to send it to us. And it exposed like a bigger issue in our home with mold. And I had been having reactions, and I was to the point where I was like, I'm going to have to cut my hair off again because I just can't handle it and I can't find anything that works. And so I got the unscented version, and I've been using it for probably about a month now, I think. And I love it. Like I've stopped reacting to my hair completely, and we live around a lot of farms too. So the air quality is not great. And that's another factor that tends to bother me with my hair. But yeah, I started using it with that exposure where I had increased symptoms. I apologize for the motorcycles in the background, but I started having a lot of symptoms from the exposure in our rental, and it came at just the right time. And it leaves my hair clean. My skin doesn't dry out. And then my hair actually feels lighter. Like my hair tends to feel really heavy because it's so thick and long. And I don't really have that issue anymore, and I don't react to it anymore. So I love it.
I love hearing that. Thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, and I wanted to tell everyone too, with like Danielle and her long hair, it is color safe. So if you have colored hair, you don't have to worry about like it damaging, all the money that you've spent on color treatment. So it is color safe. So, well, that's great. I'm so glad because we wanted to make it a daily use product. So it wasn't like something that people felt like it was just too much or too stripping. Because as you know, I mean, it's it's really hard to, number one, find a product that works, and number one, that you don't react to. So when you do, you want to be able to use it consistently without it being too much. So that's great to hear.
The only other thing I would go ahead.
Oh no, I wanted to also add, like, we had a customer ask us, and I don't know if this would be helpful for your clients, and like people with mast cell activation, but if the product, if it does feel like too thick for you, because there was like a texture issue for somebody that was trying it, you can dilute it with that. Like, a little goes a really long way. So you don't need, you probably don't need even as much as you're used to using, like with your other products. I don't know if you would you agree, Danielle? Like, you can just use a little bit and kind of, it goes pretty far.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the only other thing I would request is a conditioner. I haven't even been using conditioner with it. Like, I stopped using all my hair products, and literally my hair is like so soft and so clean, and I don't even miss the conditioner really. But if you want to throw one of those in the works, that'd be good too.
Okay, well, we'll talk to our chemist about it. That might be a little harder, but we'll see. I know there was like we had a request for like a body lotion as well. So I was like, okay, well, we'll think about it.
Yeah, you're in the cleaning sphere now. It's like clean your environment, but also clean your body.
Yeah, I know, because it's just so hard to find products that you can tolerate and that work. So, and this was a venture for us because, anything that goes on or in your body is under the purview of the FDA. So it took us, like, for all of the testing that we needed to do to show that it was safe and effective, even though we're not making like claims on the label, it was like a, minimum 2-year process. So, yeah.
Awesome. I'm going to pop you down. Okay, Danielle, thank you so much for sharing that story. It's awesome. Yeah, my husband also, like, he has a beard. And so I love that he'll actually get in and like wash his beard too, because I don't want all the nasty things like when I kiss him. But we have chickens and ducks. So like one of his favorite things was like after cleaning the coop, just using that head to toe. He was like, I feel clean, because farm animals are not the cleanest. And I just wanted to share it too. The other reason I love it is because I think about saunaing and like sweating out the toxins. So to have something that's like designed to like grab them and neutralize them, I think, it's a great product for that, for those in our audience who are at a place where they can tolerate sauna.
I'm wondering about like a dishwasher. And I saw someone just ask that because I was wondering that too. Like if you can, how you want to, dishwashers just prone to mold growth, right? And washers too, if they're like how to use any of these products for that, either of those.
Well, you want to kind of take that one, Kevin? I mean, I'll tell you. So, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say, for dishwashers, I usually recommend the enzyme solution. And you can just spray that in the washer directly and just let it sit for maybe 15, 20 minutes, and then just run an empty cycle in the dishwasher. And that should help keep your dishwasher clean, because it'll actually help break down any organic material that's in the washer.
Is that something is that an EC3 product that's different than what we have in our bundle?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. But you could use the soap too. I mean, you could, but I was just saying the enzymes because it does break down organic material.
Oh yeah, it's excellent for that. I don't know if any of you guys are sourdough people, but my daughter got really into making sourdough, and I was really worried about our pipes with like the cast off of it. Yep. And I use the EC3 enzymes like in our like disposal and drains all the time, and it works so well. And that product, like our concentrate, if you guys haven't tried it, when we get off this call, I'll make sure to send you all a bottle. But you talk about a little goes a long way. Like, one bottle of the enzymes makes like gallons of solution. And it's also our solution for stains. Like our EC3 spray, it's not it does not have, it's not a stain lifter. But the enzymes will lift a stain because they naturally basically digest the like mold spores and material that create the stain. So, I mean, you can use it to treat clothes. You can use it on grout. You can use it in your drains, full strength. You can use it on carpets. It's a great product.
Yeah, I was looking for something for, it sounds like it's a perfect product for like your overflow drains and your sinks. You know how those can like get dark, and so just to spray something in there would be great.
Oh yeah, it's great for that.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, I didn't know you guys had an enzyme cleaner. I've been buying one off Amazon, but I will check yours out for sure.
We'll send you one.
Awesome. Yeah, we love testing products for our clients because we're sensitive. We're like Catherine, you said, you're a canary in the coal mine. Our whole staff is. So if we can tolerate it, like it's a good chance majority of the people listening today will have, you know, some success onboarding these things. Let's go over some real quick, like realistic maintenance routine for like when you're in mold, out of mold. So these products are really designed and perfect for somebody who's still in mold, I would say. And then like once you're out of mold, just to maintain mold, right? Catherine, you mentioned like spraying your couch and like sofa, like or your sofa like once a week and then cleaning. If somebody's in mold, how often would you recommend like fogging?
It varies according to like how sick the person is. And so what we try to do is sort of our method for that situation would be get yourself a good HEPA vacuum. We say bagged, never bagless, just because I mean, when you open them to empty them, you're breaking the seal and just to kind of limit your exposure. But vacuum all surfaces in the room really, really well, then fog it. And we would say once a week, maybe more if you're in mold, but make sure that when you're fogging, you're not saturating anything. I think what Kevin tells people, and I don't know if anybody does this anymore, is like if you're ironing and you're spray starching like a shirt, it's like that type of mist where you're covering it, but it's not wet and saturated. Like every surface, you're filling the air with the mist and covering surfaces, but they should dry within 5 minutes. Like that's the type of covering we're talking about. And then, you know, you can wipe things down or allow it to air dry and then HEPA vacuum again. But I mean, fogging once a week should be okay. If you're feeling your symptoms return faster, you can do it more than that. But I would say like at a minimum, like once a week.
It's more than I think we're currently recommending.
It is.
Okay. I had another question, but it just evaporated out of my head. So let's go into the questions that are coming in. Just a quick reminder for people, you know, we're answering questions on the topic of today's live, and we're unable to answer in-depth personal health questions. Okay. Robert is asking, can you discuss a timeline for recovery once mold has been remediated? So highly individual, because if you have mold colonized from living in the mold, you're also going to want to address getting the mold out of your body because it can continue to activate the mast cells internally. Really give anything out there?
Yeah, just, I mean, detox can take a while. So it depends on how sensitive you are, right? And how, and what damage has been done, and what needs to be reversed, and how quickly you can go. I mean, if somebody, you know, had a short-term exposure and there was someone who didn't have mast cell and there was not sensitive, I've heard it as quick as maybe 6 months. But with mast cell, it's usually more like you're looking like a 3 to 5 year kind of thing of getting things detoxed, getting to the colonization piece, and it really depends on how you're able to onboard stuff.
Yeah. Nicole's asking, I don't have mold, so assuming she's done the remediation, should you still clean with EC3 products? And a follow-up question she asked was, can you address the home biome mold and cleaning with EC3? So I'd say, yes, I would still use the products even if you had remediated mold, because you want to continue to mediate and make sure that you don't have any additional mold growth. But does anyone from EC3 want to talk about the home biome mold and cleaning?
Well, I mean, you can, yes, to answer that question, the answer is yes. Like, so unlike something like a bleach or even an HOCl, which is a gentle product, but it is, I mean, like, it is a disinfectant. So like, you don't want to be constantly disinfecting everything. You want to have what's called, like, I mean, from a building biology perspective, you want to have normal fungal ecology for like a home to be as safe and sort of like as health affirming as it can be. So our products aren't going to be something that create like resistant bacteria or fungus, which is, we've used them over time and you know, in the lab, and you're not going to have like some super bug from repeated use, which is I know a fear for a lot of people with like a lot of what we're finding out about the way we've been cleaning for so long. But yeah, so you can address the home microbiome, mold, and cleaning with the products. I mean, personally, I do work for Microbalance Health Products, so it's, you know, I have easy access to these products, but I don't buy any other cleaning products. Between the enzymes, the laundry additive, and the concentrate, and now the soap, they're all I use for cleaning in my house. I don't really use anything other than those products. Oh, and we have wipes too. I forgot to mention that. We have cleaning wipes. So, you know, they're another product we have. So yeah, I think I answered her question.
Yeah. I think so. How is it best to clean wood floors? What products to use that won't get too red? Because like, I think when we think about, my other question came back in my head when I saw this one, because like carpet, we talk about if we can get rid of carpet, that's the best thing, right? But what if you can't get rid of carpet? Like you're in a rental, there's carpet. So I think talking about floors, people are always afraid about like too wet. So what would your guys' recommendations be? What products to use, and how would you clean either carpet floor or wood floor?
I mean, so, and Kevin can jump in here too, but I mean, so in our house, how we do it is I use a vacuum on all floors before I do any kind of like mopping or kind of liquid cleaning. So so any kind of dust removal you can physically do with a vacuum, like actual removal rather than moving it around, is always superior. So I vacuum the floors, and then I take basically like like a Swiffer cloth, and I saturate it with our mold spray or concentrate. Or in my kitchen, I use the enzymes, and then I do like a wet sort of like Swiffer mop with that. So it never really gets overly saturated, but you know, like there'll be like a film of like the wetness on there. And like if I need to scrub a little bit, like sometimes I'll just get down on my hands and knees and like scrub a spot that needs like a little more attention. But I mean, I don't use a traditional mop anymore, especially on wood floors, because it's just very hard. Like it's just, wood is porous, and it does, you know, even sealed wood can, you know, absorb some of that liquid. So.
Yeah. And what about any recommendations on carpet? You mentioned carpet cleaner, and I'm like deathly afraid of carpet cleaners because of the moisture.
Well, I mean, this would be for someone that's actually doing like a deep clean and a carpet. Obviously we don't recommend carpet either. I mean, rugs are one thing, especially rugs that are washable are great. But if you do, so one of your best allies, again, is a HEPA vacuum, like a certified HEPA vacuum. And I promise, I mean, there are ranges of price points for them. I think you can get like Atrix does make a sealed night. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I mean, some of them are really expensive, but anyway, so I would vacuum it first. And then, I mean, you can mist it with the EC3 solution or even fog the room with the carpet, come back 5 to 10 minutes later and HEPA vacuum it again. That's a good way to do it. But if you're going to use a vacuum cleaner, you can use the EC3 concentrate in place of the solution, the chemical solution, and do that. But we would recommend using one that's like has extraction, like that supplies the water and extracts, because anytime you're like adding water to carpet, it's just
I agree. I think that the recommendation of like vacuuming really well with HEPA vac, misting, and then re-vacuuming is a great like solution to that. Okay, someone's asking, how long do the candles last if you do an hour or two every day? And then just a quick little testimonial to it. The candles get rid of unwanted smells, like cooking fish.
Oh.
Yeah, so the candles. Yeah, we have 2 candles now. We have the soy candle, which is a 3.5 ounce candle, and then the beeswax candle, which is a 6 ounce candle. The soy wax candles is going to burn about 16 hours total. And then with the beeswax candle, you're going to get about 25 hours of total burn time. Okay. So if you're burning an hour each day, you're going to get about 16 days worth of burning from the candle. Now, as far as smells go, it may help some, but some odors, it's just, you're not going to be able to overcome that with just the candle, unfortunately.
But she was giving you a testimonial saying it does help get unwanted smells out of her house.
Oh, well, it does help with some. Yeah. It does help with some smells, but some powerful smells, maybe not so much.
All right. Someone's asking how the botanicals break down mycotoxins and if you have any studies on that. So you mentioned a little bit about how it's preventing them from, it kind of breaks down the outside.
We do have studies on our website for the concentrate and the candles. Awesome. And we have to be really careful because we don't make any claims about our products like on the labels. So even using like marketing materials from labs that show that they're effective, we can get in trouble. Just wanted to give you that disclaimer. There's just like you're kind of limited in what you can say, but so the extracts that we use, they basically degrade mycotoxins because they make like a mold spore inactive and unable to basically like proliferate, take hold, and grow, so it cannot produce mycotoxins. So like, for example, I don't know what a good example would be, but like unless it has a water supply and is proliferating, mold is not making mycotoxins. That's when it becomes like an allergen, and you do need to remove it from your environment or clean it up because it can be, obviously disruptive to your immune system and cause allergic response, but it won't be producing mycotoxins. Do you want to speak any more to this, Kevin? I don't know if am I making sense in what I'm saying? I hope I am, but because it's kind of confusing to some people that mycotoxins aren't something that you're like wanting to kill.
Yeah. As I say, how are you guys on time? Because we're a little bit over already. We have a lot of questions. I'm
good on time. Kevin, are you okay to stay on?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
The most of your products are unscented, but it has a little bit of the citrus in there, and people are asking if it's like safe for pets. So I know like the cleaning products were safe for pets, but like someone's mentioning scented candles are toxic to cats. Obviously. So do you guys know if your candles are good for cats and dogs?
Kevin, you want to talk to that one?
Yeah, so we don't put any kind of essential oil in our candles. It's mainly citrus extracts. I've never had an issue with animals being around our candles. So I don't think that there's any problem with burning them around the animals. Catherine, are you familiar with anyone having any issues with
No, I
dogs
mean,
or
the only
cats?
product we tell people to avoid would be the laundry additive. And I mean, that's really because it has tea tree oil in it. But I
Right.
mean, it would only really be if like your pet was eating it. Kind of like, I mean, if they're not ingesting it, it's not an issue. But I mean, just out of like an abundance of caution, we just say not to do the laundry additive in case it got turned over or your cat was like licking something that you washed in it or things like that. But yeah, I mean, we have a lot of customers who, when their dogs come in from being outside, they mist them with the EC3 spray, their little coats. So
Right.
Yeah. Okay, you kind of mentioned how the concentrate compares to the hypochlorous, which sanitization versus just kind of cleaning. There's a question about that. Someone's asking, do you recommend EC3 with every load for maintenance after getting out of mold and after initial decontamination?
I mean, every time you leave your house and anything you've got on, it's picking up mold spores and things like that. And if you're highly sensitive or have become incredibly sensitized because of a mold exposure, I mean, I think using it in every load of laundry is not a bad idea. We do that in our home. I just put in like an ounce, depending on the size of the load I'm doing, like an ounce to maybe 2 ounces in every load, just because I like how it helps remove like any kind of odors from our clothes. But you don't have to use it that way for maintenance. But I mean, I think a lot of people kind of start doing that because especially we have a lot of customers who they always wash their sheets and towels with it. Just because you're sleeping in your sheets and your towels are on your skin and your body, and those are like the things that make the biggest difference for them. If they want to be more economical about how they use it. But I mean, I think it's just really up to you. And if you feel better, using it for maintenance, but we do. And it helps keep your washing machine, clean too. So that's another added benefit.
Okay. Let's see. Someone is asking, where do I get a fogging machine? You guys have them on your website, correct?
Right. We sell two different ones. We sell, and we're actually having a fogger sale right now, but we sell like a cold ULV fogger, which is a ultra low volume fogger, and then we sell an electrostatic fogger. So those are both available on our website.
Okay. And your products are compatible with other foggers if somebody has a different one, correct?
Yes, but not if it's a thermal fogger.
Okay.
Any kind of ULV, electrostatic, or cold mist fogger, yes, but not a thermal fogger.
Okay. Joe is asking, can you talk about cleaning a moldy washing machine? So you talked about the dishwasher. Would it be the same for the washing machine to maybe use an enzyme cleaner and run on the cycle?
This is actually something my husband and I are gonna make a YouTube video about this, but Joe, it depends on your washing machine. I'm assuming you have a front loader because you're referring to the gasket, like around the like the seal around the front of the washing machine, but you may have to remove that rubber gasket and deep clean it. And then deep clean like the inside of your washing machine. But the enzymes are great for the gasket, as is the laundry additive. If it's just like on the inside of the machine, contained inside the machine, you can run your machine on a clean cycle and use like 2 ounces of the laundry additive and no detergent. And that will help a lot. But if you have visible mold on that rubber gasket, you may need to remove it and clean it with something like the enzymes that really degrade and have a pretty powerful like cleaning agent in there to like fully remove that and then put it back on your machine, and then it'll be clean. But another thing for people to realize is that if you have a top loader and you're overfilling your machine, or even some ways the machine works when they supply water to the basin, water splashes over into the area that is like between the outer casing and your basin. And it's really wise, like once a year, maybe less if you don't do a lot of laundry. And you might have to have like a technician come help you. But if you are handy and you can like get it outside and take it apart and clean that area, because where the water splashes over, that's where a lot of the mold is. And you can't get to that by just cleaning the inside of your washing machine. And a lot of times that's where the smell is coming from. And then there's like also a drain that sometimes you need to disconnect and just like clean that's on the back of your washing machine. And you can pretty much look up on YouTube like any model washing machine. But I just want everyone to know, like any commercial you see where like you drop some pellet on the inside of your washing machine and it cleans it, a lot of times the mold that's not where the mold is. So sometimes you need to get a little bit more in there. And we're going to put that up on our YouTube and show how we did it. But, sometimes like if you think you've cleaned it and you're still smelling mold, it's just in an area that you can't get to.
Yeah, I think that if you could send us that YouTube video.
Okay, yeah, sure.
A lot of questions about washing machines because it is like a common place for mold, and they're expensive to replace. So anything you can do to support, I think that that front loading especially, or maybe like that advice on like hiring someone to do the maintenance or cleaning every so often, because I don't think a lot of our clients would have the technical ability to, or want to expose themselves to that. So just if you are going to show like how to clean it, right, and recommend
that. No, and I'd be happy to. And also for anybody who has like a warranty on their machine, like anyone that could come and work on it, like you'd probably have to pay the hourly rate, whatever it is. But like, for example, my grandmother, she needed to get this done. And so she just got the Maytag, the guy who services hers. He came and disconnected it, and they brought it out into her garage, and she basically like gave him instructions on what to use, and he was able to clean it for her and bring it back in. And it was a couple $100. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's not, it's not nothing to do that, but there are, if you're not handy, you can get someone to help you.
Yeah. Wow, so many questions, and we've already gone a lot of overtime. Is there anything, Kimberly, that you think would be really beneficial for our community that you saw come in? Because I'm just trying to sort through as many as possible.
Yeah. Somebody saying, could mold sensitivity be better after a while, that you don't have to use so much or have to clean that often? And yes, it can get better as we get out of it and detox it and kind of and stabilize the nervous system too. So don't forget that piece, because sometimes people stay upregulated that way.
Yeah. There's some questions about purchasing the products from your website. So looking at website shows distributors for Canada, they don't have access to all the products. Can they buy directly from your website if in Canada?
Yes, you can. And Charlotte, I think your name is Charlotte. Sorry if I'm just like assuming that. But if you're gonna order a lot of products, just email our customer service because Kevin can probably help you. We only offer USPS International on the website, like in the cart as the international shipping. But if the order is like a larger order, he can probably get you a better shipping price with like DHL, and he can walk you through that. But like if one of the Canadian distributors does not have what you're looking for, you can certainly order from us.
And you don't
Sorry,
ship.
go ahead.
You can't ship to the UK, can you?
Yes.
We can.
Yes.
Okay, because someone's asking about the UK. So, Lisa, hopefully that's helpful as well. Okay, so just want to throw up real quick the Mast Cell 360 bundle again, which comes with the cleaner, the mold solution concentrate, and a candle. And you can find that at mastcell360.com/EC bundle. That's our pretty link to this specifically, but I'm pretty sure it will take you to their website and you can explore all the other products that you've learned about today, like the enzymes, or you can get the citrus mint cleaner if you prefer that. We have so many testimonials coming in from people as well. Like I just lost it because there's a lot going on. But somebody was saying like the candles they have on subscription because they work so well. So I think, for people who are asking about all the studies and everything, sure, those are great to read, but sometimes it's like the personal, experience as well, I think is really important. Like, we're here, these products are on the market today and we use them in the clinic and we've found benefit for our mold sensitive clients. So if that's you, give it a try.
Yeah, and we encourage people to test like before and after using them too. We've got like a bunch of like mold, people that use them that are in the mold space, like in professionally, like for remediation and things. And also wanted everyone to know that the MC360 code works for anything on the website for 10% off. So even if you don't want to buy the bundle and want to buy something else, their code gives you a discount on anything.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for saying that. Do you guys have any parting words for our audience? We like to kind of give them little glimpses of hope as they leave.
I think it can be really, Kevin and I have both been through like our own kind of mold journeys. And I think one of the reasons like we're so passionate about the products, and just mold and helping people in general is just because there is hope, and it a lot of times feels like it's like one thing after the next, and it's never like your life is never going to be the same, but it can be. And even like the cleaning piece can feel overwhelming. I know it did for me, especially when you're sick and not feeling well, but just take it one thing at a time. Like you guys were saying, at the beginning, like institute one change, and like we always tell people like everything is, anything that you're doing that's more than nothing is a win. So, just meet yourself where you are and just know that you're doing something towards getting and feeling better. So, I don't know, Kevin, do you have any parting words?
Yeah, that was good. And I would say if there's any questions that we were unable to answer, they can email us or call us. We'll be happy to talk with you.
Thank you, Kevin. I was about to ask if you guys had a customer support team because, or even somebody on the team who can come over to the replay on Facebook or YouTube and answer some questions that way. But yeah, to those who are listening live or watching the replay later, what's the best email address or like phone number for people to call you? Just the one on the website or?
Yeah, it's on the website. It's customer service at microbalancehealth.com. And our telephone number is 888-404-8958.
Awesome. Yeah.
And I just want everyone to know when they write to us or call us, they're getting Kevin who's on here. So We promise like that you're talking to someone who knows the products and what you're not getting. We do have an answering service because he can't answer everything right away, but if you know, he's the person calling you back or responding to you via email. So,
Awesome.
you know, if that's any consolation that it's not somebody like that doesn't know what they're talking about, it is.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys both for being here. Kimberly, do you have any parting words before we pop off?
No, just you can heal from mold. So I just want to echo that. You definitely can. I mean, if you look back at my pictures from 7 years ago, I was a completely different place, and it doesn't happen overnight. So yeah, continuing on your journey.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for being with us today. See you next time. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.